Hello and welcome back to my Plan to Let's Play. Today I was going to try something a little bit different. I'm actually doing a time-lapse of a open exhibit build that I wanted to try. This exhibit will host zebras and warthogs at the end of it. It's going to be much more African animals after that. It's just to start, I picked a couple. So the first thing I started doing was with the terrain tool. I laid out the basic square that I was going to use for the exhibit. Just so I had an idea, I left a gap over there for where I was going to put the gate, because that's really the only fence that's going to be around this exhibit. Everything else is just going to be using the hills and cliffs to prevent the animals from getting out, and using the gall barrier to count it as a habitat. I'm building up a corner here, and this will be used for the hard shelter to help to give them some privacy and shelter. I will cave it out after I'm done with the overall border and get it high enough. But yeah, just for the main part here, it's going around, making sure the walls look high enough and have sharp enough edges, but also to hope that they look realistic. I did just change my zoo park hours because I wanted it still to run, in the beginning, but then I realized the hours are a pain to deal with sometimes. So if you change the hours, it allows you to set it to daytime, because there is no way to actually just set the park hours to a certain time, or the zoo hours to a certain time like there is a way in Planet Coast to set the park. So yeah, over there, I felt like I didn't get them high enough, so I just flattened the surface to try to give it more of a cliff. And now I'm just going to build up the cave area. It might not wind up looking very good, but I feel like they get a nice, good amount of shelter from there. And then I'm putting in the keeper gate. I dislike how it doesn't easily sometimes bury into the wall, so it looks like it has to go up that. And I'm laying the barrier on the outside of the hills, just because if I do tunneling like I do with the cave and stuff, I don't really want the barrier for the notification that the animal escaped, even though they're still technically trapped in there, but they made out of the empty barrier. So I tried to go on the outside of the hill to give some more leeway. I'm also going to make this one its own work zone. So I figured it was time, as three habitats seem to be good. So I'm going to pretty much put every staff building over here, and they will be isolated from the other ones. I did not give it a new trade center. I did give it its own quarantine, so it was a lot quicker for the animals to move in if they ever need to be in quarantine to the exhibit. So it's right next to it, so I don't have to go try to find one on the other side of the park. So I have to give those power. That one was water. I also put in a viewing platform in the middle that doesn't have power yet, and it doesn't get power till the end of this, because I realized, actually it doesn't get power till the next episode, because I realized after the fact that I do not have the solar panels, and I didn't really want to have to work with trying to bury. So the good thing about the solar power is it does not actually have a negative impact on the guests. So I was waiting for that. But here I'm just getting some new staff members, putting them in this new area. I will connect this area to the other one, so they won't just be trapped here. There is going to be a staff path that goes connects to the other zoo. And I'm sorry if the quality of this video is bad. I'm trying a new way of recording this, and it might have cut back on the quality of the video, and I will hopefully have that changed. Not for the next video, because I did already record the next video after this, because I had something I want. It was mostly just boring, repetitive work, so I will do another time lapse for that. But I will try to get the quality, and I'm looking at upgrading my PC to have to a newer PC with better graphics cards, so it can actually handle some more of this. But yeah, so this is actually going to be the viewing platform. There's going to be some shops in the middle too, but until I got that done, I just left it as an open pathway. And here is me. I was trying to figure out how to do steps on the grid, and I cannot seem to find it. So this is me trying to lay the grid, trying to get it to go down, because it's actually going to tunnel under the exhibit, so the guests walk underground up into here so they can get a good 360 view of all the animals. But I was having a hard time aligning to the grid steps. For some reason, it was not letting me do the drag down the same way I can do on here. So here is actually just me fussing with this for a little bit. The pathing system's still not the best. I know I've heard a lot of people talk about that in YouTube videos I've watched. And here's just me trying to get the tunnel to work, and it also do not want to tunnel. So I just try a whole bunch of things trying to get it to work. And it does, I do finally get it. It took me a little bit longer than it should have, but it doesn't look 100% the best because I do have to go off the grid and then tunnel down. And you can't also take a 8-meter path off of two 4-meter paths. For some reason, it needs to be off of one. So I tunneled down with both 4-meter paths. So yes, they're not the same and they aren't on the grid, so they can't be connected. So I try to get them as close as possible to be in the same angle. And then down there, I went with the just connecting them on the grid and building it underground. So there's a little bit of weird turns that I'm hoping to cover up in a future video of getting them lined up better. But I think it did a decent enough. I was able to get close enough to the other one, so there is a handrail that goes down the middle, and as you can see, there's a gap. But I got it as close as possible. Actually, that looks kind of bad. I probably will go back and fix that later. I did not realize that. But now at least I have a way in, and I'm going to have to, just clean up the auto tunneling around the path as best as I can. But yeah, so this is the base outline of the exhibit. I don't have the cave yet. Here's me adding the staff pathing. I have it go around the front. So as I was playing after this, I did get a notification that the staff said their staff room was too far away because it's on the back side of this, and they have to go out, down that tunnel, and around. So I think I'll leave that notification right now and fix that, because my plan after this is to actually have another habitat off the back of this that you will actually leave going back down and going out to the other side. But obviously to have animals, or to have the pathway in here, I do need to have a habitat around it so the animals don't escape. And I did not check if all the animals can actually have humans in the habitat, so I didn't want to try with a walking path either. But yeah, so here's me. This is where I finally decided it was going to be the zebras, and I just was looking at what I could get that was the same as them, trying to avoid conservation credits because I did not have much education around, which is an easy way to get them built up. So I didn't really want to spend them until I started actually releasing animals to the wild. So I did go for cash with these, so that does limit some of the animals that I can have. It was also giving me an issue. It wasn't letting me put the warthogs in that quarantine, so I did use the other ones. I don't know why I was having that issue, or if it was just because I was trying to put them in there together. The other thing that I am going to do, again, once research gets figured out, is the one-way glass around this, so the animals have privacy, but you still have good viewing. As of right now, it's just glass, because that is the last barrier to get researched. So I will start getting that when I have it. And then, yeah, this is, so one of the things I found when trying to actually put the hard sheltering, if I start going with like the big one, it sometimes seems to pull away too much of the rock face. So I take it at the smallest intensity and try to get it flat right under there so the flattened surface can come through better, in at least my use. I mean, it probably could have worked just fine. But yeah, so I gave him a cave with like 2 entrances and filled it with dirt because it doesn't seem like there'd be that much grass growing since it is in a cave. And now I'm just trying to make the, since the warthog's actually in the exhibit, I'm using them for just the base ground laying. Luckily, since they're animals that can go together, it is easy to put them in together. Or, sorry, the environments will work the same. Right there, I was just roughing it up the ground to kind of make it look more realistic and checking the traversable area to make sure there is no way that they can escape, which is good. Because it will give the notification that a dangerous animal has escaped, even though I don't think either of these would really be considered dangerous. But yeah, so now it's just, luckily, some of their enrichment came from some of the other animals I already had. So I was able to get both of them relatively high on enrichment without having to do some of the research. So the research will be started for them, and actually it already is on the warthogs, to be able to get the level 3 food, which costs more, but at least then I don't get the notice that their last meal quality was bad. Yeah. So both these animals like coverage. So I actually put plants in this one, and so I just went through filtering by their country and biome, which the zebras were only one biome, the grassland, so I made sure not to use both the warthogs, but only the one that would not give me anything negative for the zebras, because they did not care about plants. But if you put plants in that are not natural to them, it will impact them. So I just went through, tried putting plants or trees everywhere to get coverage up, but since it's such a large habitat, it took a lot of trees to actually get the coverage percentage up enough. So one of the things I do wind up doing is, I think it's kind of like tricking the game a little bit, but since you can bury the tree branches underground, or the tree trunks, I pulled them down to make them more look like bushes, but I think it gives the coverage of the full tree. So here's the exhibit after. I've never jumped in the game to stay on the final exhibit. I know it has some things, like I did add shops in the middle that is actually part of the next video, so I forgot to record this before I recorded the next video. But I hope you guys enjoy, and my next video will also be a time lapse because it was a lot of just small things around the park and waiting for the solar panels and just other research to get done. So I just did a lot of maintenance work around the park. I'll begin that shortly, but I hope you guys enjoy and come back for the next part.